Okay, good. I'm not a crazy name and picture, huh? I mean, picture's crazy, but that's just me.
Trying to keep attendance as I'm clicking people in here.
Don't forget me this time.
Yep, sorry about that.
It's okay.
The person with looks like a phone number or something. Could you tell us who you are? 333-454-108.
Yeah, that's me. It's Vanessa Martinez.
Excellent. Hi.
Hi. Sí, sí. ¿Está bien? Yeah. Vanessa. No más. Y creo que Silvana.
Hey guys, thanks everybody for being here. I just wanted to take attendance here. I see who's the person that has the name iPhone?
I don't know. Oh, it might be me because it's not opening my computer.
No, we got you. Let's see. It's somebody who's kind of making a little clicking sound in the background right now.
Yes. I'm also trying to open it in my computer, but it's not working.
No, we can see you fine. You're good.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. There we go. We've got another one coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got at least 6 students I know of. How about the one that has either an L or an I? It's just one letter. Can you come through?
You can turn on the light. Thank you. Hello.
Hi. Are you the iPhone person?
No, I'm the Cardio.
Claudio. Gotcha.
That's not L. The L or the I, that's Lillian. That's
Lillian?
Valle.
Oh, is it Ms. Valle?
Yeah.
And if I could still trying to figure out, let's see, could somebody text the person that has iPhone and see if you can, or not text them, could you chat with them?
No, we're not on the same thing. It doesn't, well, I know, so. But
Oh,
who
do I
knows?
not have the chat ability on there?
Sorry,
I don't think I did. I turned on chat again. My bad.
She was on the email. I was like, why? She has any. I'm gonna be so pissed.
Hey, Ms. Caudell, just want to make sure you knew we could hear what you're saying. Didn't want you to say anything that you regretted.
Maria, I see two of you for some reason.
What?
Like, I see you on here twice. I don't know if anyone else does.
I don't know.
Yes, actually, I see you 3 times. You're in
Me?
the 2 pages.
I'm going to start all over. In my computer, it's not working. I don't know what's going on.
I think your computer and your phone are going at the same time. So we get a side profile and we get the front profile. It's pretty awesome, but
3-dimensional version, right?
Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this.
Email's on.
It looks like we're at 5 minutes after, so if you don't mind, I'll kind of try to get us an official roll call here. And I'm really excited that so many people could join us. And it was just yesterday morning that we were able to start finalizing a vision for Spanish immersion within the master schedule. And that's why I was just excited to go ahead and, as soon as we had some concrete plans, to go ahead and get people together and start talking. I really, many of you all were parents I spoke to at Hawthorne back 3 years ago, and where I was excited about this vision of seeing Spanish immersion work its way all the way up through Hawthorne and Highland to Atherton. And we want to make that a reality. So we have a preliminary plan, but I know we have such a strong parent base as well with this particular group of students that I want your all's input and feedback, because we're still at a critical point where we can help shape it together. So how about this? I'll have, I'm gonna go ahead and call off the Atherton staff that I think I've seen log in, and I'll just introduce them. How about that? Just to help keep this orderly. Then I'll kind of go alphabetically through who I've seen check in as far as our parents and students, and then I can fill in the gaps on some of these where I couldn't tell based on your screen name. So again, my name is Tom Aberly. I'm the principal of Atherton, and excited to get this going. With us today are looks like all 3 of our Spanish teachers are here: Maria Suarez, Lillian Valledezaha, and Courtney McDonald. I'll just want to kind of shake your hands so your screen pops up. We also have Rachel Weinrich joining us from Highland. You want to shake your hand or something so your screen will pop up on everyone's. We have Mr. Michael Klimper, who's our World Language Department Chairperson, our Japanese teacher and World Language Department Chairperson. We have Tessa Beckley, our assistant principal, and came to me with me to Atherton from Highland, and was part of the Spanish immersion training we went through together in Delaware several years ago. And Nikki Marzian, who is a Spanish certified teacher and has been working in our school in multiple capacities, multiple leadership capacities over the last year. How about this? I'm going to go through and see who I saw come in. It looks like Ms. Caudille.
Don't forget about Sarah Uhl.
Oh, sorry about that. There you are, Sarah. I didn't see it pop in. No, I just realized I didn't have it on the right screen. And Ms. Uhl, who is our freshman academy counselor and has been working too close with me on making this master schedule a reality. And in fact, we were talking all the way up until minutes before I clicked into this Zoom, working on Spanish immersion. So let's see. All right, scanning through. So I see Miss Claudille,
Yes, Heather. Yeah.
Heather, good to
Yeah.
see you.
Good to see you.
And I saw, what's that? I saw Drake sign in.
Yes, Ellen Drake and my daughter's here as well, Daria.
Excellent. Hi. Let's see. Herrera Schiffler.
Oh, the camera's on. Tell her.
That's Stephanie Schiffler and my daughter Silvana Herrera Schiffler.
Silvana, thank you. Stephanie. Let's see. Vanessa.
Yeah, I'm here with my mom.
Excellent. Hi. And Valerie Montanez.
Yeah, right here.
Hi. Let's see. Isaiah Zubrick.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you
And
just-
let's see. Who else do we have that I haven't caught?
I'm Sherry Stanley, Ramey Escobar's mom.
Escobar. Great. Still haven't figured out who's on that iPhone, have we?
Evelyn said that might be her.
Evelyn? Okay. Evelyn what? What's her last name?
I think it may be Evelyn Romero. I don't know.
There it is. Yep.
Show up
Yep.
on the screen.
Romero Hernandez. Gotcha.
Yes.
Thank you. Hi, Evelyn.
Hi.
Thank you all for helping out with that. Well, cool. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we have almost half the group on such short notice, so I appreciate it. I wanted to let you know how many of you, by show of hands or by sounding off, were at Hawthorne a few years ago when we talked about this. See a few of you.
I think I was. I don't remember.
Yeah. And then that was Evelyn, and then Valerie. Valeria also raised her hand. So, and yep, and Zubrick. So, you know, what we talked about when we'd gone through, when Miss Beckley and I went through the training in Delaware and talked with principals, administrators, and immersion specialists from across the country, all the way to Alaska. They talked about immersion program being you kind of from a logistics standpoint, you try to get 20% of the school day immersed in the target language. Now, when I looked at the high school models, there really weren't any, honestly, at the high school level that modeled anything that would indicate something of that nature. It was mainly elementary and some middle school. I think Alaska had a much better model, but they also had 5 immersion programs with Russian and Chinese and things. So what we were wanting to do is freshman year, pair up the students, first off, getting students into the proper Spanish language arts. So that doesn't mean, unlike what you've done up to this point in Highland, where you had one Spanish language arts teacher providing differentiated instruction based on the student's proficiency. At the high school level, we have 3 full-time Spanish teachers, and we have a wide array of options. So we want to get them into the proper Spanish language arts class to start with, and that would happen through an interview and academic review process with our Spanish teachers, and they could determine based on the student's proficiency and skill level where we want them starting in Spanish language arts, so that they can progress appropriately. Because we actually have, we have every year you can take Spanish, and you can also take it at a standard and a higher level within the International Baccalaureate program. That's actually something that we just started this past school year, and we're continuing into next school year, having multiple layers of college level ways to reach proficiency. Now, the original conception, and that if you were part of the discussion that we had back in the fall, our goal was to connect this with also have a class in which they're taking immersed in the target language, and my goal was to have that to be a science class. That's not working out in the way of having from a staffing standpoint. What is working out though is and why Ms. Marzian has joined us is every student takes what we call a freshman seminar class, a career exploration class. It's also used for teaching social skills, teaching study skills, introducing things like character inventories, those type of, I'm blanking out on what you take those. I don't want to call personality tests, but they're like leadership tests. You learn about yourself through exploring your own predispositions. So Ms. Marzian, in talking with her, has agreed to teach this freshman seminar class in the target language in Spanish. So they would actually have the ability to have a Spanish language arts class and a freshman seminar class. Now, I'll be honest with you, that freshman seminar class is offered on a rotational basis. It's the only class that we do A/B scheduling on. And that's because students only are required to have a half credit of PE. So rather than having, we rotate that throughout the year so that students can have that experience both with freshman seminar and with PE stretched out throughout their first year of high school, as opposed to like doing it all in the fall or all in the spring. So from our standpoint, I see this as kind of the perfect blend of having two courses, the Spanish language arts and this freshman seminar class being taught in the target language, as well and the flexibility to have students who are coming into this immersion program to get into the right language arts class, Spanish language arts class that they need based on their proficiency, but then also coming together to have that kind of bond as a Spanish immersion team and program in this freshman seminar class. Then, I'll be honest with you, I've talked a little bit with Ms. Marzian about what this might look like next year. Each year it's, we're looking at how would we handle this? I only like to make promises that I'm pretty certain that I can follow through with. We are looking to expand in different areas within our departments. This year we really expanded within our academy classes. So health science, media arts, and engineering. Only bring that up because we're investing a lot this year in our academies as they're growing quickly. And I also want to bring that up because what I want to be very careful about in providing this opportunity for you all is that kids don't have to choose between Spanish immersion and taking the proper level core content class or taking an academy class that they're really excited about. If we like say every year you have to take this one particular class immersed in the target language, that's going to limit their total number of classes that they have to be exploratory and take those electives that they're interested in. So what we're looking at is either one direction or another, or a combination of like a project lead the way type of course after this school year, where they're focused on community involvement. They're focused on being immersed in the target language in a more communal sense, as opposed to only within school. And then also thinking of things like, I guess the most basic term would be a club, but more like an honor society, a Spanish honor society that they are engaging in community involvement in throughout high school, ultimately earning, and we have a couple different pathways we're exploring that I would, over time, over the course of this year, I'd like to see what is of high interest to our kids with something like what's called a bilingual certificate. And these are certificates that are recognized at a national level as opposed to just something we're making up at a school level. You know, I could slap a foil label on your diploma to make it look good, but that doesn't mean that it's something that's recognized beyond Atherton. What we really want to do is something that's going to be meaningful when you leave Atherton, whatever your post-secondary interests are, that would be help empower you and frankly showcase you and be helpful for you beyond high school. So I guess I'm going to push pause right there since I talked on for about 15 minutes. I wanted to cast that vision of what we're doing and how we're structuring it. This marker board behind me is the master schedule, right? And it's basically where we take 1,400 students with 7 course requests each. So almost 10,000 course requests. And we figure out how do we organize it in a 7-period day so that students will be able to take the classes that they're most interested in taking. And we're supporting programs like the Spanish Immersion program. I guess, Ms. Weinrich, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, you and I talked in the fall about what this might look like. I think we even explored that project Lead the Way discussion. Do you want to maybe reinforce some of the things I've said, or maybe even ask me, you know, or where do we need to add a little more emphasis?
It all sounds pretty good to me. I have the utmost respect for Miss Marzian, and I'm sure she would do a great job with helping the students to organize themselves. And that seems like although it's not science, it's also not limiting the students. I like that. You know, and that's a nice way to get them thinking at those higher levels in the target language. You know, because metacognition in the target language is going to be tough, but, you know, also really useful for them, I think. So, you know, and that being spread throughout the school year, I think is a positive thing. You know, I feel like this is pretty much what we were looking at. I know I've talked to the students about the Seal of Biliteracy, and that was one of the hopes to try and get done this past year. And I know that a lot of students are very interested in that because of the fact that it's nationally known. So I think that's a really, really high priority for these kids. So
Cool.
Sounds good.
We've never done anything like this. I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm going on my 11th year as principal next year, and it's exciting to finally, you know, take something that we saw developing at Hawthorne. We wanted to make that connection with Highland, and now we get to bring it to a fruition. Mike, you and I've talked about, I think it was the Seal of Biliteracy. Is that different than a bilingual certificate?
There's the Global Citizenship Certificate, which is a little bit easier to gain than the Seal of Biliteracy, which is an intermediate. It's an intermediate mid-level for sure, and so it's more stringent to get that for a student. But these kids coming in should have the experience by the time that they're finished to get that, and that is very well recognized.
Is it realistic to maybe use one of them as a stepping stone to the other, or would they only be focusing on one or the other?
They're a little bit different. The Global Citizenship Certificate has a lot of cultural aspects to it, and so that actually could be something. They want to try to get that for something by the junior year that you could achieve, and so that could actually be something quite positive. Because it would get them involved more in the community on different levels. And if we work kind of with Ms. Krohn-Hines a little bit too, with some of the outreach that she does, that could help really facilitate things pretty easily and get these students to work, like have partnerships and internships almost. Yeah, so I mean, both of those are really good options.
Cool.
And most of the students who are entering this program are already at intermediate mid-level. So getting to intermediate mid is not going to be an issue for these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tom, I talked to you a little bit about the seal of biliteracy because when I was at Seneca, we had it, and they incorporate it there, and it was difficult. It was mainly the Cuban students that ended up getting the seal of biliteracy, especially with them really only having about 3 years or 3 levels of Spanish at Seneca at this point. But I wouldn't think there would be any issue for these kids to be able to get it. So
I like a challenge. You're throwing down the gauntlet here. How about this, Ms. Suarez? Ms. Weinrich had talked about like intermediate level and stuff like that. How do we, you want to explain how we assess, how we would assess these 20, we have 20 students coming from to Atherton from Highland who are in this immersion program. How would we determine, like, should they be in advanced 2? Should they be in an IB standard, IB higher? What's that look like?
I will say that we could have like an interview and see how their, communication skills are developed. And I will not rush them into the IB. I think that they could be placed maybe in advanced 2 or advanced 3, but I will not rush them into the IB. So they have more practice,
Yeah, and actually, Ms. Beckley, could you speak just so that people kind of understand how IB works? Because we're talking about the IB diploma program and not the IB middle years program. What would be, just so that we're all aware and we're being 100% transparent about how IB works?
So the classes are generally taught in the 11th and 12th grade year. So freshmen and sophomores usually don't take IB classes. However, there are sometimes some anomalies. If you want to be a diploma candidate, and that's something we can go over in depth at a little bit later time, you cannot take an assessment your sophomore year. So what Ms. Suarez is saying is that if we go ahead and jump right into the IB classes, those assessments would not count towards the diploma. So we would not want to take the level 4 IB class until junior year. Does that make sense? Should I?
Yes.
Well, I think, yeah, and I would maybe to re-emphasize it, said a different way, kind of connecting what Ms. Suarez said as well. So you all would talk with interview these students, determine if they're at probably an advanced 2 or an advanced 3 level. Many of them may be coming into an advanced 3 level. If they have a mid to high level of proficiency, then they could take their sophomore year, they would take either IB standard or IB higher. Am I right on that, or am I messing that up? Because I know normally advanced 3 is for the standard level, but we could roll them into a higher level class for those with a strong proficiency.
Yes.
Did I say that right? Okay. Okay, good. So let's see. I think we've heard Ms. Marzian. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your background in the way of your if you forgive me saying this way, your competency at being successful with a program like this and with what we're wanting to accomplish?
Yeah, so when Dr. Aberly approached me about this yesterday, I was like, oh, I got butterflies because I haven't been in the classroom for a couple of years now, but I feel like it's almost the first day of school again. I'm really excited to get to work with your all's babies and Miss Weinrich and the World Language Department. And I think that this content is going to be great for these kids because, yeah, it is, called Freshman Seminar, but we can kind of explore whatever the kids need or whatever the kids want to do. And like Dr. Aberly said, I would love to do some like community outreach things. I would love to connect with native speakers in the school and out of the school. I think this is a really great opportunity. I'm excited for all of our Spanish to grow and for these guys to kind of get rejuvenated and because I know there's some kind of burnout going on. I see it with my daughter at Hawthorne. She loves it, but she's ready for a new challenge. She's ready for something different. And I know a lot of you guys are too, or a lot of your kids are.
So I'm excited for the challenge, and I taught Spanish for 15 years. So it'll be a little bit different from teaching Spanish. It'll be a lot more content, a lot more like Rachel talked about. I love the metacognition idea. I think that'll be great for all of us. And I'm just really excited to have you guys.
Well, and also with your current role, like she has served as our freshman support team person, just kind of serving in a quasi administrative role. You served. How long did you teach Spanish before we moved you into that role?
Taught in the middle school level for about 12 years, and then I taught maybe 11 years, and then I taught at Atherton for 3 years.
And what I'm hoping is with this type of flexibility that you have, that this being the only period, that there would be another freshman seminar paired with it for AV day kind of stuff, but that it would actually give Ms. Marzian the ability to continue communicating with Ms. Weinrich and Highland on building this future connection as well, right? Sustaining the pipeline. Because she actually has a little more flexibility in her schedule that way, as opposed to someone who's teaching a full load.
Right. I would love to help grow this program because I know this is so important for us and the kids.
And I guess my excitement from it comes from the fact that we never have thought about tying this type of experience in with our international baccalaureate program, something that we're most proud of. And in developing it in a way that it goes hand in hand without being competitive. And we're doing that same thing with the Academies of Louisville, where we don't want students to say, I'm either an IB student or I'm an engineering student or health science. They're going hand in hand. The IB is the curriculum, and the academies are the career pathway courses that they can take. And I want this Spanish immersion experience to be similar, right? It's not going to be necessarily similar to what you've done in the past, either at Hawthorne, like when they came to Highland, it looked different. They had a Spanish language arts class exclusive, right? And then they also had science tied in with it, so when we come to Atherton, we're not looking to just replicate what they've been experiencing for the last few years. We want to mold it to what high school, what it takes to be successful at the high school level. That's why I feel like this is just an outstanding plan that I hope will be that the change is perceived as something that allows students to be more flexible with what that experience means for them at the high school level. So how about if you want to raise your hand rather than just unmuting and asking questions, at the bottom under the participants, you click on that, you see you can raise your hand, and as you do that, it'll pop up on my side screen here who's raising their hands. So if you got any questions or even comments or thoughts, any concerns about things we've talked about, I'll be honest with you. I love the idea of us building this ship together. As much as I'm excited about having the idea, what the idea looks like, I also want it to be designed specifically for you all. Ms. Caudill?
Okay. All right. So I had a question. So you mentioned maybe doing interviews to where to put them. But as you may have been aware, our 8th graders did not have a chance to take the Apple test before we shut down for the pandemic. So I've been communicating with Mr. Burba about if there's a way that we can do that, because I think you have to be in the school building to take it. But he hasn't gotten back to me as of yet, but I know he's exploring that because in addition to that, I personally would like to know Cadence's progression since 5th grade. Like the credit she got then is great, but what did she do the past 3 years? So if we can get that done, that would be amazing. So that would help you guys too on where they're placed.
Yeah, right. Ms. Weiner, do you want to comment any on that, what you know what's going on there?
Yeah, I know that we've gotten communication from the Apple testing um, CEOs that say that it's not possible to do the testing without like somebody to administer the test. So it would have to be in person, which means that we can't do it because of the state of affairs. So there's no way that I can think of that we could do it both in person and also safely.
I guess Ms. Suarez, since you were we talked about this together, would this be something as simple as a Zoom conference type of discussion?
I think so. I think that we can organize like a Zoom meeting. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I
with each
did all my,
individual student.
yeah, I did all my IBs individual oral presentation through Zoom. So yeah.
Right, and that was officially endorsed by the International Baccalaureate Program. So, you know, that I guess you know, with IB deals with this in China and Japan, you know, all across the world. So I think they've been extremely accommodating during this process, during this pandemic. Miss Stephanie Schiffler, is that right?
Hello, my name is Stephanie Vasquez, and I am the mother of Kiara Jackson. She's currently right now an 8th grader, and what is particular and peculiar about my daughter is that she has been going to Peru back and forth, so she has been having double schooling. During the summer, she has been going to Peru with my parents full immersed, and now she's here. I am Peruvian, so I wanted to know, like, for kids that are children of Spanish-speaking parents, is there going to be another system of testing when it comes to writing, reading, or is everybody's going to be standardized?
So which, I don't know which Spanish teacher would like to speak to what have we traditionally done with native speakers and determining where they belong in a Spanish language arts class?
In the past, we always place them like level 2 or 3, depending on their skills. Last year, we had the Spanish for native speakers, but we decided that due to the limited number of the students, we're gonna do that like every other year. Couple years before that, I had a group of students in my level 3, and I tried the best I could to address their needs in terms of reading and writing, because the speaking is there. It's just they need to practice more the reading and writing, but it depends on the number of the students, you know.
So I think that, and make sure we're answering your question as best we can. I think the answer is that we wouldn't treat them differently. We would assess them to determine their reading, writing skills, as well as their language, their speaking fluency, and determine which Spanish language arts class at the high school level they would be most successful in. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I also have another question. I am an IB holder myself. I graduated in Peru from a private school, which is completely different. I keep to find out. And I'm interested on what tests I have to say. And I do have another question. Why is it that the last 2 years they actually get into an IB class? Why it's not from the beginning?
Go ahead, Ms. Beckley.
Sorry, yeah, that's the IB program. So there's a separate middle years program for 9 and 10 that is completely separate. But the diploma program is only 11th and 12th grade, and that's worldwide. Does that help? Okay.
Well, I was just a little bit confused because I didn't know if it had to be how the grades are divided here in the US. So then you kind of had to match that. But I just didn't understand why it was segmented like that.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's going to clarify it any further, but there's a primary years program, which actually, young elementary in JCPS is a primary years program for IB. there's a middle years program, but as you mentioned, you know, from an international standpoint, middle years program actually refers to grades. Is it 7 through 10 or is it 6 through 10, Miss Beckley? Do you know?
They actually call it year 1 through 3, so it'd be like 6th through 8th, and then year 4 and 5, which would be 9th and 10th.
Okay, so the middle years program encompasses actually in an IB standpoint through what we call 10th grade, and that's why they have the diploma program happening after that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Yes. How about this? And I'll pose it as a question. Do you, where are your students? You know, if you're a student on the line, you can speak up too, if you can raise your hand or just unmute your mic. Are you excited about this idea of continuing it in a slightly different way? Would you rather see the same type of model that you've experienced? Do you like the idea of in the future, like beyond freshman year, this becoming more of a organization, the way we have National Honor Society, we have the Beta Club, we have a social studies society called Rho Kappa. These are all things that we recognize at the at graduation on the graduation programs. But is this sound something that would be enticing, or do we have, you know, we'll reach out to each student individually to get kind of confirmation that they want to be part of this freshman seminar class that will build this Spanish immersion community at Atherton. But kind of, if anybody can kind of comment on any initial thoughts or where you're at.
We think it sounds great. Cadence is excited about the freshman seminar and using her language skills in that capacity. And, you know, for the core content, I think if we got it down the road, maybe, but I'm excited, I know Cadence is too, for something different since we've been doing that since kindergarten. And she would maybe actually enjoy math and science and English for a change. That would be good. So yeah, I think all this sounds pretty exciting.
Cool. Stephanie?
Silvana's excited about the change in plans from science to Miss Marzian, and I think that's a great idea. I think being a dual language teacher myself, the idea of learning the content that Miss Marzian's going to be teaching in Spanish is really, really, it makes sense for real world language versus just the biology. So I think it's a great idea.
Cool. I was hoping that's the way people might think about it too. It could be much more practical, right?
Very relevant. Yeah.
Yeah, relevant and practical, yeah.
Dr. Averly, I didn't want you to miss anybody. I saw that Travis is here, Adrienne Eckberg, so I didn't know if you marked her off at the beginning.
No, I didn't. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Travis.
How about, let's see, Jessica, are you still with us?
I am. Isaiah had not planned on continuing in immersion. I think he's just sort of done with it. So I wanted to attend this to find out what the new plan was to see if I can use it to convince him to continue. So that's where we are.
Yeah. Vanessa, you still with us? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be better, more practical, like Ms. Schiffler said, because like you can use science, but not for like a conversation with anybody. So it just makes more sense to do it like a freshman seminar.
Cool, good. Valeria, you there still?
Yeah, I picked French for my world language, but I just wanted to attend this, so maybe I'm gonna switch back to Spanish immersion. So I'm not sure right now.
Okay, great. I forgot who's on the iPhone. Somebody told me who it was.
That's me, Evelyn.
Evelyn, that's right.
I actually put Arabic as like the language that I want to do for one of my classes. I don't know if I would still be doing the Spanish immersion program as well, because in the fall when you came over to Highland, I asked you a question if it would be possible to do 2 languages, and you said it could be a possibility. So would that still be an option, or would it change?
When taking 2 world languages your freshman year?
I was maybe planning to do it like on my sophomore year to take the 2 languages.
That's something we could, you'd need to work with Ms. Uhl on. Yeah, I'm not sure that I could answer that right now. If you're taking Arabic, I'll be honest with you, we have room there's Arabic and Japanese, we usually have a little more room with than we do with, say, Spanish and French, and it's purely a staffing issue. So it just depends on which world languages you're wanting to take. And that's why Ms. Uhl could help you with thinking through what that would look like. And so if you were interested in the Spanish immersion, how you might be able to how we could talk through what that could look like for you in the way of trying to blend the 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Vanessa, you had your hand up again?
So would it be a possibility like to switch sophomore year to a different language?
You'd want to talk with your counselor about that. So I'm not saying yes or no, but there's that introduces something that you need to be aware of regarding college. What do they, Ms. Uhl, what do we call them? College what? Minimum college something?
The pre-college curriculum.
That's it. Yeah. So you could work with your counselor on that, Vanessa.
Okay, thank you.
And Stephanie?
Yeah, Kiara has a question. Sobre la clase de salud.
I emailed Miss Yule about the health class, and I don't believe I got an email back about like how much like money it would be if you wanted to attend it like online.
The online health class?
Yes.
It's really affordable because it's free.
Oh.
So if you'll just send her another email, and if you want to CC me in case maybe you have her email wrong, it's Sarah with an H on it, and just say you're wanting to start your health class.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're excited to get that. We're going to be pushing that off hard here after things wrap up. I'll be sending out a lot of emails to our freshmen to get started on that during the summer. This is a great opportunity for you. My son takes e-school classes every summer to keep him into the classes that he wants to take during the school year.
Nice.
Any other general discussion? Mr. Klemper, I guess just real quick, you and I've talked a lot over the years about how important world languages are, and I think you've got a community here that, there's no need to sell that to them. I think the excitement is how we can take that idea to a whole new level with the idea of the seal of biliteracy and the global citizenship certificate, and just something that could be so powerful for a student leaving high school and either going into post-secondary education and or the workforce, taking something like this with them. And I know you do a good job with kind of, with our SBDM council, we actually developed a policy this past year, or was it the year before last, where we put that into policy. Just any comment you wanted to make on that?
Yeah, I think Atherton's really been very supportive of this kind of thing. And with the IB program and the immersion that you guys are taking part in and have taken part in, you're just getting set up for really really good opportunities in the future. It's just the size of your worlds is so much different than the size of other people's worlds, and you've really got a lot of options available for you, and it's exciting to see this coming to fruition at Atherton.
Cool. Well, thank you. All right. Well, not seeing any more hands popping up. I want to thank everyone for being part of this. And if you'd kind of spread the word among it looks like maybe about 8 or 9 people weren't able to attend. Kind of spread the word about where we're at with this. And I'll have one of us will be reaching out to everyone individually to just confirm, that you're good for that Spanish immersion freshman seminar class. And then we'll also be following up about the Spanish language arts class to get you into the right course. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for meeting with me. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.